have another thing here I want to show you.
Okay.
So we recently worked on Design Disruptors.
Yeah. Oh my God. What a project.
What an incredible project.
That was such a dream, man. That was a great client.
We started, they're incredible. Envision is
I love those people.
That's like what you want when you're trying to build up a client base, is people who are like, here's the idea.
Yeah.
Run with it. And that was pretty much it. And then they gave feedback and input, and we had like people that we collaborated with there, but it was very much a collaboration.
It was like unlimited resources too.
Unlimited resources, like literally. So it started out very small. It started out as a 20-minute film about product design and how companies like Facebook, Twitter, Airbnb, though we didn't get those companies early on, it was more smaller companies. How are companies designing products today that we use every single day?
It began with Envision and you guys asking companies to be in the documentary, and it ended with companies asking to be in our documentary.
Yeah, that's actually a great point. In the beginning, it was very hard to get these companies to buy into it, especially big companies like Facebook and Google. We couldn't even get that conversation going. Yeah. So we had to prove that we could actually make something that was legitimate, and we started to build this thing. And it was very small in the beginning, but then it ballooned to be this massive project over the course of 2 years, where it started out with about 5 interviews. We actually ended up with 59 interviews. We filmed with 25 companies, just a massive amount of interviews. I've never done a project quite as big. Yeah. So what I did, we learned a lot over this shoot, and doing 59 interviews over the course of 2 years, from the very first one to the last one, dramatically different. So what I've done, I've got
the first one and the last one.
This is every interview. Going to be playing back to back, 4 seconds for each interview. And I actually flipped them so they're all on the same side, so it's a little bit easier to track. But I want to kind of go through this and see where...
He looks rough.
Yeah, right. You can see some of these things where we're like, wow, man, what were we thinking?
Yeah. Well, that day was tough because we were having audio issues out the wazoo.
Yeah, we were more
that
focused.
one looks good.
Yeah, like, you know what's funny is that I see it's kind of that step forward. You see a couple interviews where you're like, wow, we actually killed that. We nailed that. I think the thing with these is a lot of times it's based on circumstance.
Yeah.
The location we're shooting is so big that if it's a shitty location, if we're put in some side closet somewhere, then it's going to be more difficult to turn it into something nice. Like, that looks really great. Look at the hair light. You see the hair light?
Oh, man, I love his interview. That looks nice. The thing that for me, when I look at it, is the thing about it for me was listening to other people's suggestions when I shouldn't. Sure. And that's when my bullheadedness is very great for what I do, is when there's times when it's important to listen, and there's times where it's really important to know exactly what the fuck you're doing and tell everybody what to do.
Here was where we started to change things.
Yeah.
And dude, you can just see these interviews are so much more dynamic.
Yeah.
Look at the shape on the face.
Yeah.
There's a consistency now from here on out that we didn't have before. Yeah. We had developed. Tell me about this. What we had done differently.
Well, we had done a side light the first, I guess, half of the film, and then we did an overhead light the remainder. Like, you should sort of like learn as you go, but kind of keep a theme. And when you're making a video, like, at all times, you're just like Tetris, like building anything you can make better, you can. Okay, we didn't do this last time, let's do this time. And that's like really hard to maintain consistency, especially when you're growing, getting better. In that 2 years, I did Delco. I did probably about 15 music videos. I did probably 30 corporate videos, and that changed a lot of things.
Massive learning experience.
Yeah. So like by year 2 of this, you know, it wasn't necessarily about lighting these people. It was about creating the characters that they were, and like making them look like these fucking gods of design.
You know what I'll say?
You know?
Is that in the beginning, we were so much a product of our circumstance and our environment. Yeah. We would go into a room and we're like, well, this is what we got. If it was a great location to shoot, we got a great interview and it looked great. But by the end of it,
oh my God,
it didn't matter. If we were put in a closet, we would be able to, we had
that's when we put our foot down.
Oh, dude, man, this one, it was like a vacant office.
And
everything in
room.
the background,
it's all fake.
We added. Like, that's a little bicycle, all these props, everything we put in there. We put that poster up on the wall. Yeah. We put this like side.
We redesigned the interior of where we went to moving forward.
We did that almost every single time.
Yeah.
And I don't think people really notice like the small details.
My God,
but you and
so
I
important.
pick apart every single frame, every single element on the screen. And I think that's like becomes important as you get better.
Yeah.
Is that it's no longer about the big things. You start to, those things just are in the background. You already got that. That's like boom.
What is it? Death is in the details?
Yeah. People will say, is it important? Is it like on minimalism? I went through and I did sound effects for every single frame. There's a flag flapping. All right, let me go find a sound effect for flag flapping.
Sure.
You know how long that took me? It was literally 2 weeks straight of me doing nothing but sound design. Because that's not my main. I'm sure somebody who's like better at sound design than me can do this.
They might have a library.
They have a library they can pull up and whatever. But I'm going on YouTube and I'm downloading flag flapping sound effects and I'm putting it on here. And then somebody asked me, like, is that necessary? Is it important to get into it? And I'm like, I think it is. I think it is.
It's more necessary than anything that people realize.
Because if you give up on that one detail, you're giving up on 1,000 other. Yeah. And the bringing all of these tiny details together, that's what makes your film or your project distinctly you.
Sure. I think that's what made Design Disruptors, when we saw the premiere of it, very successful, because the sound design was truly incredible.
Whew. Man, they killed it with the sound design. De facto was incredible.
Oh, that was De facto that did it?
Yeah, you know them?
Yeah, well, actually, they were at the Masters of Motions. Yeah. They're the audio sponsors.
They have a podcast now, too. That's
Everybody
incredible.
was talking about that.
You realize, okay, it's important to hire people that are way better than you at specific things.
Sure.
And it's going to just elevate and bring the quality of your project up so much. So, just phenomenal. Dude, just where we went from in the beginning to the end, it's just phenomenal. It's funny, in the very beginning, I thought we were the shit. I thought we were amazing, and I think we were pretty good. We've had a lot of experience going into this project, but I'm just amazed at what we were able to learn, and it just makes me continue to realize that I'm like not done. I'm not even close to mastering this craft, and there's so much more yet to learn. Well, and this is part of the podcast, is like, I feel like I want to share these experiences with other people, and I want to learn with other people and learn from people like you who really have different experiences than I have.
Well, the funny thing is, actually the perspective of it that's super intriguing is, ground up, right? You're talking about the origins, the creation of you to get from A to, what A might be when you started and Z is now.
Yeah.
But the timeline is ever growing.
Mm-hmm.
So you're talking about, how did you get from the beginning till now? And in 10 years, now is the beginning.
Let's talk about what you've done since then. So like next time you come on the podcast, it'll be, let's talk about how have you grown since then?
And like, if you feel like now you're like, well, I've like grown, I'm at my peak, whatever it might be. But like, this is still the origin chapter of like the life of Matt.
Dude, the Ground Up show, this is the very beginning.
Yeah.
Talking about, and this is actually...
like 14 documentaries from now, you're going to be like, remember in that like couple year period where we did like this and that? And that was the beginning.
That was, we don't realize it now. We feel like we've come so far.
Yeah, like we're like, we're at the end of the book. But like, this is just the end of chapter 1 of like a 50 chapter book.